What if the world's greatest prophetic mystery wasn't hidden in Jerusalem, but in the mountains of Ethiopia, a nation ancient as time itself, guarding secrets that could unlock the final chapters of the Bible? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might completely change how you see the end times. For centuries, Ethiopia has been more than just a name on the map. It's been whispered about as a keeper of sacred relics and divine promises, an unbroken thread stretching all the way back to Genesis. Many believe this mysterious land could hold the key to understanding how the story of humanity will end and how God's plan might unfold before our eyes. The Bible first calls this land Cush. In Genesis, one of the rivers flowing from the Garden of Eden passes through it. That small detail ties Ethiopia not only to the dawn of human history, but also to the earliest moments after Eden's gates closed. Cush, the son of Ham, Noah's son, became the ancestor of the Ethiopian people, placing them right at the roots of civilization after the flood. And as we trace the name Cush through Scripture, something remarkable happens. It keeps showing up in moments that point toward the end of days. Isaiah speaks of a nation beyond the rivers of Cush, a people who will one day bring offerings to God in the final times. Could that prophecy be describing Ethiopia? Many scholars think so. And if they're right, Ethiopia isn't just part of biblical history. It's part of the future. But that's only the beginning. There's an ancient claim that somewhere in northern Ethiopia, hidden from the world, rests one of the holiest objects ever created, the Ark of the Covenant. According to the Bible, the Ark carried the Ten Commandments and symbolized God's presence among his people. Yet after the destruction of Solomon's temple in 586 BC, it vanished from history. For over 2,000 years, no one has known where it went, except maybe Ethiopia. An old Ethiopian text called the Keber Negas tells a stunning story, that the Ark was taken from Jerusalem by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, and brought to Ethiopia for safekeeping. Today, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims the Ark still resides in the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum, guarded day and night by a single monk who devotes his entire life to protecting it. No one else is allowed to see it. If that's true, Ethiopia isn't just a nation. It's a guardian of God's covenant. And according to the book of Revelation, the Ark will reappear in the last days as part of God's redemptive plan. Could it be that when that moment comes, it will emerge not from Israel, but from Ethiopia? And that's not all. Ethiopia's royal lineage adds another layer to this divine mystery. Its monarchy once claimed descent from King Solomon himself, through his union with the legendary Queen of Sheba. Their son, Menelik I, is said to have founded a dynasty that lasted until the 20th century. If true, this would mean that Ethiopia's kings were not just rulers, but direct descendants of Israel's greatest king, a line connected to the very bloodline for which the Messiah was prophesied to come. Think about that. A royal bloodline tied to Solomon, a nation guarding the Ark of the Covenant, prophecies pointing toward the end times. Ethiopia begins to look less like a distant land and more like a chosen nation, one destined to play a key role in God's grand design. The prophets didn't stop there. Both Isaiah and Ezekiel mention Cush, Ethiopia, as part of the great conflicts that will shake the world before Christ's return. Some even link it to the Battle of Armageddon, the final confrontation between good and evil. Ezekiel 38 verse 5 lists Ethiopia among the nations that will rise up against Israel, only to be struck down by divine power. It's as if Ethiopia's story is woven directly into final pages of prophecy. And what's fascinating is this. Ethiopia has remained one of the oldest Christian nations on earth. Through centuries of trials, isolation, and persecution, its faith never wavered. Could it be that this endurance is preparation for the spiritual battles foretold to come? Now here's where the story takes another surprising turn. Some researchers believe that the true Mount Sinai, the mountain where Moses received the Ten Commandments, might not be in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, as many assume, but in Ethiopia. Ethiopia's rugged highlands bear a striking resemblance to the biblical descriptions of Mount Sinai. If this theory is right, it would rewrite one of the most sacred maps in human history, placing Ethiopia at the center of God's covenant with his people. And that's not the only mystery hidden among Ethiopia's mountains. Deep in the highlands lies Lalibela, a city carved entirely out of rock in the 12th century. Its 11 stone churches were built as a new Jerusalem, during a time when Christians could no longer travel to the Holy Land. Each church is connected by tunnels and passages symbolizing biblical events. Pilgrims call it sacred ground, but some believe it's more than that. They see Lalibela as a prophetic sign, a shadow of the New Jerusalem, described in Revelation, the heavenly city that will descend when God makes his home among his people. But perhaps the boldest claim of all is this, that Ethiopia itself could be the true Zion. Psalm 87 speaks of nations like Babylon and Philistia and says, this one was born in Zion, including Cush or Ethiopia. Ethiopian Christians believe this means their land holds a special place in God's plan, that their country, not Israel, might be the spiritual Zion mentioned in Scripture. If the ark truly rests there, if the Solomonic bloodline is real, if the prophecies of Isaiah and Revelation point to this land, then Ethiopia might be far more than we've imagined. It could be the spiritual heart of the world, waiting for its appointed moment in the final act of history. So what do you think? Could Ethiopia truly be the keeper of the ark, the home of the lost tribes, the hidden Zion waiting to be revealed? The deeper we look, the clearer it becomes. Ethiopia's story is not finished. It's still unfolding, and it might hold the final clue to understanding God's ultimate plan for humanity. If this journey sparks something in you, share your thoughts below. Do you believe Ethiopia will rise again in prophecy's spotlight? And remember, sometimes the answers to the Bible's greatest mysteries aren't where we expect them, but where faith has quietly preserved them for thousands of years.